I said I'm going to war with the world to become the best version of me, right? And as I went to war with the world, I left my younger self behind because I wanted to protect him. I wanted to keep him safe. And keeping him safe means you're not coming to war with me. You've been hurt. There's bad words that people said. You've lost all of those things. So I'm just going to keep you to one side. I'm going to keep you safe. I'm going to go to war with the world. I'm going to make money. I'm going to grow this business. And then I'm going to come back and save you. But I realized that there was only certain doors that I could open. So I was pushing through life, trying to open many doors and get breakthroughs in business. But there were some doors that was opening and some doors that wasn't. And I realized that, oh my God, I left my youngest version of me behind.
Welcome to another episode of Daring Dreams, Heart and Strategy in Small Business Marketing. Today, I have a special guest, a friend of mine, Ish Bell from the UK. So we are going all over the world with Daring Dreams. And Ish actually helps me with a lot of the podcasting stuff that you guys see. And so I wanted to interview Ish because he has a really interesting journey, like many of you, and he dared to dream. So welcome, Ish, to Daring Dreams.
What's going on, Hayley? That was absolutely amazing. It's quite cool to actually be on the podcast. I'm normally the one behind it, editing it.
I know, and I love to have you here. I always have so much fun when we chat together. So for those of you listening, Ish has a media company. It's called Bell's Media. And I've hired him multiple times to help me with various different things, including editing this podcast, including my book launch when my book came out. And I love working with him and Marci, who is his partner. And I want to kind of dig in with you in terms of like, how did you become an entrepreneur? Like, what was the journey for you to start your own business as a marketer or consultant?
I think I've always had entrepreneurship like in my bones inside of me, but I didn't really know how to express it or actually become one, right? I always knew a 9-to-5 wouldn't cut it and I wouldn't be able to buy my dream house or drive the cars that I wanted to drive working a 9-to-5. Yes, 9-to-5s are amazing and some people can live their dream life, but I knew my dream life, I couldn't live it off a 9-to-5.
Like many of you, Ish has done a ton of things in his life, from delivery driver to teacher, and then turned entrepreneur. So what was it that kind of got you from that?
I've got the perfect story. So what really got me into marketing was actually one of my friends, John and Gad. He's a mindset coach. And we connected probably just over 8 years ago. And when we first connected, I was watching his YouTube videos because I wanted to travel the world. My goal was to travel the world and make money online. So at the time, I was watching a lot of YouTube videos, Southeast Asia, travel vlogs, and really just consuming the travel lifestyle, hoping in one day I would actually get on a plane and actually live it. So I was gearing up and getting ready to actually travel the world. And I came across this YouTubers called Mia and John, or John and Mia Vlogs. And they were traveling Southeast Asia and they was putting out daily content. I was just watching their content every single day, commenting on it. And John reached out to me on Instagram, right? And when he reached out to me, he just put me a message. It was like, "Thank you for the love." And I was like, "Oh my God, like John's reached out to me. This can't be real."
He's a celebrity.
I know, right? I opened the DM and I messaged him and I said, "Bro, is this really you? Send me a voice note if this is the true John Gad." He sent me a voice note laughing. It was like, "Yeah, bro, it's me. Absolutely love what you're doing. And I've also checked out your channel." Because at the time I was doing YouTube. So I was just doing like vlogs and motivational videos on YouTube. And he was like, "Ish, I love your energy. Let's meet up." And he happened to be in London. So he happened to be in North London at the time. I lived in South London. So that was about an hour away commute. So headed over to North London and we grabbed a cheeky Nando's. In London, we call it a cheeky Nando's. So if you know, you know. And he brought his partner Mia. So they stopped traveling and they was back in the UK. And they would just share with me their journey of why they wanted to travel and how they was funding it. And it was like, "Ish, traveling is amazing. I've been out there for 6 months and I want this to be my full-time life." And I was like, "Bro, how are you going to do it?" And he was like, "I'm going to do it through online marketing." So I was like, cool. So at this time, I just wanted to travel the world, right? I just wanted to get on a plane and do what he was doing. But I knew I needed a vehicle to actually be able to sustain it. because at the time I was just saving, I was working, and I just wanted to save a lump sum of money and then get on the plane and go. So my goal was, I think it was 6 or 7 grand saved up, and I was about halfway there before I actually met John. So met him, and he was like, bro, this is what we're doing. This is the next goal. The goal is right now we're going to build a marketing agency, and that's going to fund the lifestyle, and we're going to travel, and we're going to make money. Because he went traveling for 6 months, and then he ran out of money. So he was like, he's got to make more money. So he came back, and he was in Sainsbury's working a 9 to 5, pushing trolleys around. And his goal was he was going to build a marketing agency. So that was the plan, and he invited me over to a marketing event. And I think it was Jordan Platten and Aaron Branch that was running it. And it was all to do with Facebook ads and so forth. So he was like, yeah, this is the vehicle that we're going to use. We're going to use Facebook ads. We're going to make 10K per month. And that's going to enable us to go out. So I'm like, all right, cool. That sounds wicked. I'm there. I don't know nothing about Facebook ads, right? I'm listening and I'm just consuming.
You're just like, I want to go on my trip.
I just wanted to get out there. I just wanted to fly. I wanted to experience the life he was living. And then he was like, Ish, what's the vehicle that you're going to use, right? And I was like, I don't know. I don't think Facebook ads, I'd want to use that vehicle. And he was like, Ish, do chatbots. Like, that's the next thing, right? So it had the Facebook ads, and then the next new thing was chatbots. I was like, what's chatbots? And chatbots was basically, you build bots for businesses that you can sell through ads. And it was more of an organic way of actually closing people. It doesn't sound organic because it's chatbots, right? But it was more of an organic way, and you could save a lot of money instead of spending money on ads. So that was my vehicle. I bought my first course. Hayley, when I bought my first course, it was £999, and I only had £1,000 to my name to spend on a course, right? And I was broke after. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna make this investment. I clicked the button, spent £999 on my first course, and I was like, oh my God, I've got £1 to my name. What am I gonna do until I get paid? So that really made me pay attention. So I went through the course, I studied the course, and it was challenging because I was reaching out to people in the DMs, I was sending voice notes, I was following exactly what the course was saying, but I wasn't getting the results that I wanted. I got a few people that responded back to me, and one of my favorite artists actually at the time was Lincoln Treedot, and he's from Jamaica, and there's another comedian in Jamaica called Chabas, and that's his friend, and they used to do YouTube vlogs and everything. And he responded back to me, was like, I love what you're doing, let's hop on a call. So we hopped on a call. I sold him the dream, but he didn't move forward with it. He was like, yeah, I'm going to do it, send me your bank details, I'm going to pay you. And you know what they say, if the invoice doesn't come in and it's not paid, it's not a client, right? Yeah. But when you're first time entrepreneurship, you're like, oh my God, I've signed this person.
Yeah, you're celebrating, but then it didn't pan out.
That's it. So I'm going around telling my friends, guys, I've signed one of my first clients, Lincoln Treedot, he's associated with this person. And yeah, it didn't fall through. So he just completely ghosted me after. And then I was working on a few other projects. So after that, I got a project with one of my friends that was working on a brain coach, really, really big brain coach in the UK and the US, and helping him scale through chatbots. We was working on that for a while, and I got a few other clients here and there. So probably about 9 months in, I made back the money.
That's hard.
I know. So 9 months in, right? I should be in Southeast Asia on a beach, sipping a Bacardi with sunshine.
Yeah, so here's the public service announcement. When somebody tells you you're going to make $10,000, $20,000 a month by just doing something easy, it's not the case.
I know, right? And I was so into the dream. I was in the marketing with John, and he was like, yeah, it's easy, So I was doing that, and at the time, me and him were just sending voice notes back and forth. And every time we were speaking, we were just always speaking about mindset. And it was never really about Facebook or chatbots. It was like, it's just mindset. Keep on going and pushing. We're going to make it. So him not giving up just enabled me to keep on going, right? And then the funny thing is, he went off to make his first £10,000 a month with his partner. And I was left there literally like just broken even.
Oh no.
So he gave me a call one day, and he was like, Ish, I'm leaving the marketing agency. And I was like, what do you mean you're leaving the marketing agency? He was like, yeah, no, I'm gone. I'm throwing in my towels. Like, this is not for me. This is hard work. And I was like, oh, serious? And he was like, yeah. I was like, what are you going to do next? And he was like, I'm going to do mindset. And I was like, bro, what? Mindset? And he was like, yeah, mindset. And remember, prior, all we used to speak was about mindset. And he was like, I found the key. I was struggling making £10,000 a month online because I didn't have the right mindset to make that money. It wasn't a character, it wasn't an identity. And I was like, oh my God. And then he left his agency to his partner at the time, and she just continued growing that. And he went straight into his coaching business. And I kid you not, his first month in his coaching business, he made over £100,000
Wow.
from just leaving his Facebook ads agency, going into coaching, and it just blew. And he was like, Ish, when you do something that you love, it just works for you. And yeah, so he started his coaching business, and he was like, Ish, I want you to come along. I was like, oh, cool, let's come along. And actually, no, before he actually asked me to come along, I was like, oh my God, this finally gives me permission to stop doing chatbots, because I was only doing chatbots because we first started, and he was like, we're gonna make £10,000 online, we're gonna make money, we're gonna travel the world. So if he can do it, I'm gonna do it, and we're not allowed to quit. So we made that pact to each other. And then as soon as he quit, I was like, no, I can quit now. So I threw myself. I was like, I quit. And he was like, what are you gonna do? And I was like, I'm gonna do filming. But at the time, I didn't know that you could actually like monetize having a camera. So I had a lot of experience from being on YouTube, speaking, filming for clients, X, Y, and Z. Well, filming for myself, I should say. But I just didn't know you can actually monetize of it. And he was like, yeah, no, you can monetize it. Like, just reach out to people. Here's the method. Da, 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 da. I was like, okay. And I set a goal, right? I wrote on my whiteboard. I had a whiteboard in my room at the time. And I wrote on my whiteboard that I was working two jobs. I was a primary school teacher, and I was working Amazon. So I was just delivering parcels, right? Because at that time, I literally just bought a house. So I just needed extra income. So I was working crazy, right?
So were you doing those two things when you had the chatbot business too? Or
No,
no?
so chatbot business left. So
That
chatbot
ended.
business
Okay.
completely closed. As soon as Big Gabba, I call him Big Gabba, his name's John Gab, but I call him Big Gabba. As soon as Big Gabba said, all right, I'm leaving the ads and I'm going to coaching, I was like, I'm out. That's me done. But I'm not done with making money. I just need to find a different vehicle that works for me. So I went into filming, and I wrote on my whiteboard, I'm gonna replace my second job, which was an Amazon delivering parcels at the time. Absolutely hated it, but just bringing some extra income. I'm gonna replace that job with filming. And I wrote that on a whiteboard, and at the time on Amazon, I think I was making anywhere between £500 to £800 per month. And in that first month, I replaced it, which was like, whoa. So I was knocking on doors, going into restaurants, offering them my service. I'd love to work with you for free. I'll do a free promo video for you, edit it, show you, da 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 da. I done like 5 or 10, 3 clients came on board, made over £1,000, literally in the first month, right? And I spent 9 months in the chatbot industry trying to make money, but it wasn't working. Soon as I picked up something and done something I love, money flew and came in. So I wrote that and I was like, oh, cool. So now I'm playing around with manifestation, right? You write something on a whiteboard, it works. And I was like, let's dream bigger. Let's dare to dream bigger. Got my whiteboard, rubbed everything off on my whiteboard, right? And then I wrote on my whiteboard, I will replace my full-time income with my business at the time. And it was called IKB Media. So I done that, and yeah, the same month I replaced it. So same month I was making 2,000 plus per month, and I was like, oh my God, this works. So I was like, all right, cool. We've got a vehicle that works. And then one of my friends, John, he was like, oh, Ish, I want you to come and work with me as well. Let's build this YouTube channel. So that was an extra client. So at that time I was making anywhere between 3 to 5K per month, right? So life just changed just like that. And I started to travel the world. I set a goal to visit 12 countries within a year. It's a crazy goal. I'm just like that. I just set random goals. I told someone I'm going to visit 12 countries in a year. And they was like, no, you can't do it. You tell me I can't do it, I'm gonna do it. So I visited a country every single month and travel. So now I'm living my dream life. I'm traveling, I'm coming back, and so forth. And then I'm like, going into film for clients is really hard. It takes up a lot of time. We need to do something different now. I need to start working with some people international. What if we just only go to video editing and I don't have to actually go there and actually film? Because my friend is making 100K months, right? And I'm here, just hit my first 5K month consecutively. I want some of the big boy money. And he was like, Ish, you're not gonna be able to do it doing this. You need to expand a little bit more. So I made the change to actually just reach out to people internationally and offer a video editing service. And at the time, it was just short form content. So short form content was king. It was just running. So we were just reaching out to people and say, we'd love to work with you, da 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 da. And it was RKB Media at the time. Then we got a few clients from that. And then I started making a bit of money from it. I was like, oh, this actually works now. I'm international. I'm an international business. And then I met Marci, and then we partnered and connected together and created Bells Media. Now, this is where the plot twist kind of came in. We was working with people, we was offering video editing packages. They was buying the content, right? But it was taking ages to send us the videos. And we was like, why? They were spending over thousands of pounds with us, which is great for business, right? We got money coming in, lovely. But we actually wanted to deliver a service and actually be of value. So we were just speaking to these clients. It was like, you're spending money with us. What's blocking you from actually recording the content? And after a few consultations, we realized that they wasn't comfortable actually being on camera, comfortable sharing about their business and so forth. So the more we spoke to them, the more we realized that everyone had an amazing story. And then we started to dig deep into actually storytelling and actually finding out who they were. And me, I'm a big person, I'm a big listener. So if you tell me your story, I'm listening into it. And they're telling me their story. I'm like, your story is absolutely amazing. Why are you not sharing this on Instagram? Why are you sending me reels about trending this and algorithm and you're being someone you're not? Share your story and you're going to make a bigger impact. Because when you're sharing it with me and Mars, we're super engaged. One of our chair like, what happened next? So we started teaching people how to share their story. And we just started doing this for absolutely free. Just like, you know what? We're going to teach you how to share your story. In return, you send us content. We can get edited and we can get the pipeline moving. And then Mars was like, Ish, this is the next way. And I'm like, no, Mars, this is not the next way. And I'm like, no, this is not the next way. We're doing video editing. It's working. We can help people with their story. But she was like, I was like, nah, it can't be. And she just kept on pushing me. She kept on insisting, Ish, it's storytelling, it's storytelling. And I'm like, I can't feel it yet. I can't feel it yet. So over a few months of Mars nagging me, said, this is the way. We started to do that. And we built a system where we do consultation with you, where we actually understand your story, your timeline, show you where your power is in your story, and then show you your content voice. So that's what we was doing. And then clients were sending us a bit of content here and there, but it wasn't sending us a lot of content. It was like, oh, cool, what's the next step? And I was like, Mars, let's do a virtual recording. Let's actually just hop on a recording session with them. All right, record with them, ask them questions around their story because we know them, we know what they've gone through. We're like best friends, ask them questions, a normal interview style. And then from that call, we'll chop it up into short form content, get the team to add subtitles on it, and then we'll send them a whole month of content. And it just worked magically, because one of the biggest struggles I had when I first started creating content was actually sitting down and actually being my authentic self. Whenever it came to creating content, I would write scripts, I would be someone I would not. I'd try to follow the algorithm for the views and the likes, and it was stressful. I spent hours sitting down, right, dress up, look nice, sit down for hours, recording content, and then after I record the content, I wouldn't love anything. But if you get me on a podcast like this, or you get me speaking about my story, or you ask me questions, everything just flowed to me, and that was the content that people loved. So I was like, wow, there's power in conversational content. And if we can get someone on a call just like this and have a conversation around their story and the things that they've gone through, they can express and they can open up. And then on top of that, we just take that clip, we edit it, and then we send it back to them and they have a whole month of content. They don't have to worry about actually uploading content because they've got 30 pieces of content to go. So we started offering that to our clients and our clients absolutely loved it. And then the only struggle that we're having right now is just not getting in front of enough people to actually pick up the offer. But everyone who's absolutely used it, it's like, wow, this is a game changer. It saves them time. They get to be their authentic self, and they're creating content in a way that just, it's them.
It feels better.
Yeah. So that's a little bit about like how I got into marketing and a little bit where we are right now. There's probably a lot more in there, but yeah.
For those of you listening, Ish and Marci allowed me to help them with part of their story through some coaching, which we did the purpose work. So for those of you who have been following me, you know that purpose, contribution is like such a huge part of my business. And one of the things that comes out of the purpose work is really finding that seed that fuels you and that pushes you forward. And so I had the absolute honor of working with Ish and Marci, and we did the purpose work. And I got a phone call or a text late at night after we had done some of this self-discovery work. And it was actually a very tearful moment for me. I was so excited for you. Do you want to share what happened through our sessions and then what that led to for you?
So yeah, Hayley was a huge part in our journey. But at the time when Hayley was playing a part in our journey, we didn't really see where it would have led to, in a sense, right? Because Hayley was just giving us a lot of homework. I was like, ah. So Hayley was like, you know what, you need to go deep, deep, deep. And at the time, I was surface level. So we done a bit of Hayley's work. It was on and off, in a sense. But when we started to really dig deep into finding our purpose and what Hayley was teaching, we was like, oh my God, there's a lot of power in it. So in order to like really find out, one of the questions was like, why did you start business? And we was realizing like why we started business, and it was realized that there was certain parts of me that was actually missing in business and X, Y, and Z. So that led me to actually go and find my father. So I didn't see my father. I hadn't seen my father for over 20 years, right? And I grew up without a father. It was just me, my mum, and my sisters in the household. And I was literally just going through life wounded. But I didn't really understand or realize I was going through life wounded until I actually went into entrepreneurship and business. And business is just a reflection of who you are. So if your business is not working, it means you're not working, or there's a certain area in your life that you need to unblock. And I think one of my blockages was not having a relationship with my dad. So going through the work that Hayley was teaching us in purpose and really made me dig deep to actually, all right, cool, I need to go and find my dad. And Marci was pushing me to go and find my dad. But you know me again, I ain't going to find my dad. It's not time to do that yet. So you can probably see a sequence, right? I'm never the first person to actually just go and do it. I'm a bit more skeptical or a bit more slow, but there was a time I was like, all right, cool, I have to do it. So Marci and Hayley's teaching was just me pushing me to actually go and find my dad.
And I had no idea, you guys. Like, I mean, I had like questionnaires he had to fill out, and like I was pushing on, why are you doing this? Why? I had no idea what was going on in the background.
100%. So, in order to find my dad was lost. He was a lost person to me. So I had to find out his whereabouts, where he was, X, Y, and Z. And every time I asked my mum a little bit about my dad, my mum wouldn't tell me. So growing up, I didn't have a great perception of my dad. Bit vulnerable moment here. I just saw my dad as a crazy person because that was kind of like what was said to me in a sense. My mum was like, oh, your dad's got mental health issues, X, Y, and Z. And being young, mental health meant like, oh my God, you don't know how to control yourself. You're absolutely chaotic, X, Y, and Z. Yeah. So when it came to actually like looking after or seeing my dad, I was scared to see my dad. I remember when I was younger, there was a time where my mom, I wrote a song about it as well, actually, a little poem. and it was called Frozen Emotions. But it was a time when my mum just had enough with my sister, and my mum was a single parent, so she was just growing us. And I think it was just at the time when my sister was just demanding a lot from my mum, and my mum just had enough. Like, I can't do it, and she was like, "I'm me one in the house." So in Jamaican, that's the Jamaican word. "I'm me one" means I'm the only single parent. And go and look, go and look and find your dad, and go and ask your dad for some help as well. Because my sister was just putting a lot of pressure on my mum, and actually not being grateful. And I think we all do that when we're young and kids as well, especially when we don't understand the whole picture. So my mum and got me and my sister. We went in the car and we drove to my dad's house. And the funny thing is, my dad lived 5 minutes away from me, guys. 5 minutes.
Oh my
And
word.
I hadn't seen that guy for like my whole life, in a sense. But we were probably
Wow.
walking down the same streets throughout the days. But yeah, my mum drove us to his house, and that was the first time I actually knew about where his house was. We went into his house and we sat down, and that was the first time I actually saw my dad. But on the way to actually going there, I was nervous. I was super scared, because my perception in his head was he's a madman. He can't control himself. What's gonna happen? And I'm young and I can't defend myself, right?
Yeah.
But when I got there, he was absolutely fine. Yeah, and that was like probably like one of the first time. But that was like a side story. Back to the main story now. So I realized that certain areas in business wasn't working for me, and I needed to make a change, and I needed to find out what it was. So I think it was time to actually go and look for my dad.
I have to add on because you were our first coach. And I know you might feel that, okay, you guys didn't finish your coaching program. You took us into a deep hole of searching for who we are and what our purpose was. And that's lasted until today. And even like recently, I said, back to Hayley's teachings, pricing again, right? Little things that we tapped on, but going back to the purpose to get to the story of Ishan's dad, it was your questionnaires, all the questions that you gave to us that made us like really dig deep. And there was one time, it was one Saturday, we were sitting upstairs and we're filling in the questionnaires, and I just didn't understand what was going on. And I told Ish, you need to find your dad. But I had enough. I was like, you need to find your dad. Because all these things were bottling up, and Ish was closing up. His heart was closing up and he was just quiet. And I said, you need to find your dad. Do I have permission to find your dad? Because I said, look, one day you're going to be a father. One day you're going to have a little mini you, and it's all going to bottle up. So you're going to need to know your purpose. As you know, my one is legacy. So
Yeah.
finding out finding out about all these things in your questions, it brought everything up to the surface. We found him in 24 hours.
That was the part that just like blew my mind. Like we had a session and then it was like that night or something. It's like we just found Ish's father that he hasn't seen in 20 years. I'm like, what is happening?
I'm calling care homes. We're calling people to really find out where he is. I'm asking my mum for more information. My mum's like giving me little small pieces, X, Y, and Z. And then I call this care home, I call this care home, and I'm like, "Is my dad there? This is the name he goes by." Da 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 da. And they're like, "No," and I'm like, "Are you sure?" And they're giving me clues. They're like, "He's here, but he's not there," because I'm not getting the name right. And when you're in like the care or the system, you have to get details to a T, because again, you're putting other people's safety on point, at risk. So I called my mum back and I was like, "Mum, does dad go by any other names?" And he was like, "Yeah, his last name's Wing." I was like, "What do you mean Wing? My name's Bell." And he was like, "Yeah, his name's also Bell, but he also goes by Wing." And if anyone doesn't know, I'm actually Chinese, right? Chinese and Jamaican. No one really figures out the Chinese side of things. But yeah. But dad is like, "Oh, he goes by Wing." So I've called back the care home. I was like, "This is my dad's name, da 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 da. This is his last name, Wing." And I've said his date of birth, and I've got his date of birth wrong, like one letter, one number in his date of birth, and I'm like, ah. So I called my mum back, and I was like, "Mum, what's his date of birth?" And my mum said his date of birth, and I was like, "Oh, okay, cool." And then I've called back, but as I've called back, something's hit me. I'm like, this is the first time I've actually known my dad's birthday. And I was like, that's crazy. To actually think you go through your whole life, right? And you don't even question when is your dad's birthday. Like, Like, like you know your family, you know your sisters, your aunties, your cousins, but you don't even know your dad's birthday. And I was like, whoa, that was a sad moment for me and a realization. And then, yeah, the care home was like, yeah, this is the person, da 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 da. Can you check this location? And I was like, all right, cool. We checked the location, and then we gave this care home a ring, and he was there. And the care home said, I need to speak to him first. And yeah, he was like, he knew exactly who I was. He was like, I'm happy to come and see. I'm happy for you to speak to me. Da 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 da. Speaking to him. And before that, actually, we found a photo of him on Facebook, and I've never seen that. I couldn't picture how my dad looked, right? Because the last time I saw him was probably when I was like 6, so I couldn't picture how he looked. So in the process of actually searching for him, we found a photo on Facebook, and Mar showed me the photo. Like, even got a video of it. Mar showed me the photo, and I'm just there laughing and smiling because I'm seeing the other half who made me, like, what I look like. I'm like, oh my god, I look exactly like my dad, and I'm just there like laughing and smiling at the photo, and it was just like a magical moment for me in that moment. Yeah, and then I asked the guy, it was 10 o'clock at night, are we okay to come up and go and see him? I haven't seen my dad in 10 years, da, 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 da. And he was like, yeah, that's absolutely fine. I came up and I saw him, but he wasn't in the best condition when I saw him. He was in a wheelchair, he had a stroke, and yeah, you couldn't have like a full-on conversation with him. So I missed out a lot of years where I could actually build that relationship with my dad and actually speak to him, to actually find out he's in a wheelchair, damage to his head, and his conversation is very limited. So I had to ask myself, like, over the time of actually going to see him here and there, it was hard for me because I had to understand, what does that relationship look like? Because it will never be a relationship like a father and dad, or a relationship where I can have a proper conversation with, like, Dad, why was you not there? Or what was your life like? Or like, tell me about you so I know a little bit more about myself and I get to know where you're from and what's your story, in a sense. Because his vocab and everything is limited because he's had a stroke. So for me, it was more of like, all right, cool. What would I do if my dad was alive? What would I do? Yeah, what would I do if my dad was absolutely fine, right? And it would be, I'll just continue showing up and checking in and seeing him. So that was just a relationship that I chose to have with him. Again, I can't ever have that proper conversation, but I can go on him and see if he's okay. And then I learned a lot about myself in that process, in terms of like why I'm so driven, why I always wanted growth, was because I always wanted a dad to kind of like show me the ropes or show me where to go, in a sense, and X, Y, and Z. So it was like, business for me was, I'm going after growth, I'm going after expansion, because everything my dad didn't teach me, I'm going to teach myself. But it was funny because I was sharing a story the other day on Instagram, and that was my purpose, that was my drive at the time. But I said, I'm going to war with the world to become the best version of me, right? And as I went to war with the world, I left my younger self behind because I wanted to protect him. I wanted to keep him safe. And keeping him safe means you're not coming to war with me. You've been hurt. There's bad words that people said. You've lost all of those things. So I'm just going to keep you to one side. I'm going to keep you safe. I'm going to go to war with the world. I'm going to make money. I'm going to grow this business. And then I'm going to come back and save you. But I realized that there was only certain doors that I could open. So I was pushing through life, trying to open many doors and get breakthroughs in business. But there were some doors that was opening and some doors that wasn't. And I realized that, oh my God, I left my youngest version of me behind. I need to go in business as a complete version of me. So there was one day I was just going into a meditation, and I was just sitting on this table right here. I closed my eyes and I was just doing EFT tapping. And as I was doing EFT tapping, it just hit me, and I just closed my eyes, and it was in a dark room. And as I was in a dark room, I could hear my younger version of myself. And in order to get to him, I had to remove all the hurt. I had to remove all the hurtful things, all the things that he was scared of, all the things that people done to me. And as I was removing all of those things, I was getting closer to that younger boy. And as I got there, I was able to hold his hands and just hug him and tell him he's safe, he's okay, I'm here. And in the process of that, I was able to set him free. And I realized that I wasn't playing big enough in business because I left my younger version of myself locked away while I went to war with the world. But now my younger version can go out and can play. He can be safe. But I was scared to let him play, because if he plays and he hurts himself, or someone does something to him, like that's part of me, in a sense. So what that showed in life was that showed I was taking longer to do things, like go back to finding my dad, go back to doing the work that he was setting us, go back to taking the travel and doing the things. It was just longer for me to do it because I wasn't my whole self. And yeah,
Oh,
and now me and my younger self is best friends. And that obviously that all started with actually doing the work and realizing why you're in business and then finding your purpose. And it goes a lot deeper, and it's a journey that will continuously unfolding and will continuously going through, and realize that it's never the end. But we're here now, and that's like a mini version of it.
wow, that's a lot of healing. And a lot of, I think one of the scariest things in life is to be vulnerable and to um, face this stuff inside you that is scary. And I think it's awesome
It's
that you
funny.
did that.
Thank you. It's funny that you say that because one of the scariest things is definitely to be vulnerable. And I done a lot of the healing work, right? But I was doing a lot of the healing work privately, and I was running a business at this time. So when I'm running a business, I'm not sharing anything about my story or anything that I'm going through. I'm literally just healing and getting over it and then moving forward. And I was like, you know what? It's time to actually share my light. It's time to actually be vulnerable. It's like time to actually share my story and inspire and impact the world. But every time I wanted to share it, I got nervous or something would pull me back, or like, you know what? I'm scared of what's the world gonna say. But every time I shared parts of my story, people really connected to with it, and it inspired them to take action and do things. I had my friends find their dad or take action in their business, and I was like, this is just from my story and just from me speaking up. And that's when I realized the power of actually sharing your story and going out there. And yes, it's uncomfortable, but the more you open up and the more you share your truth and your transformation and you're comfortable in it, is the more that you're going to inspire people and shine your light so other people can shine their lights as well. And I always say this, imagine we're in a dark room, right? And no one can see each other. But I find my light and I've got my light, but the room is still dark. But I go to someone else and I tell them about my story, and then their light shines, right? And then they share their light to another person, and then the room just gets more brighter in a sense. And one of the biggest things I realized that a lot of people are all going through the same thing, but everyone is just scared to voice it or say it. Yes, I've had this struggle in business, or yes, I'm having this struggle in my relationship with my family, or yes, I've been hurt there, or yes, I lost money there, or business is not working how I want it to work, or I've had this trauma or X, Y, and Z. Like, share it. And I'm not saying go online and share and open, let your heart bleed, because there's
Yeah.
a way to do it. But don't go online and share someone who you're not, because it just pulls you further away from your truth, further away from your audience, and it takes you longer in order to get to those clients. And one thing I realized as well, all the clients that we were starting to work with was just all heart-led people. There was people who had a big mission, and I think that's why it took us a little bit longer to actually grow our business, because at the time we wasn't willing to actually share our story and actually be vulnerable, and we was only working with people who had a strong passion and had substance behind them. So that was not just anyone, right? If you connect to somebody, you connect to someone, and we always connect with people based on their story and who they are. It was an energy. So we was turning down a lot of work, and we was only working with heart-led people who had a big mission, because that was always one of my whys, to impact and change the world. But I realized that I couldn't do it all by myself. I needed a team. I needed to help inspire other people so they can inspire other people. But if I just help one person shine their light, that's not going to really make a big impact. But I've helped business owners that's helping other business owners, or have big communities, then that can make a bigger impact as well. And then for me, I can just share my story and reach more people. But the business people who have a big purpose, they can reach a wider audience. So if I can help them share their story, edit it, and get it out, oh my God, we're changing lives on a different level.
We are. And if you look at like, so a lot of these stories obviously are going out on social media, going out on YouTube, podcast, stuff like that. And I do think like we're in a crisis right now, from a marketing industry perspective, with the inauthenticity, the fakeness, the distrust of businesses. And I think that helping people to open up and share stories and to actually create real connections and opportunities for people to see themselves in others. Um, I think that that is a very noble mission, and I love that you guys have embraced that as opposed to chatbots. Not that there's anything wrong with chatbots, you guys, but obviously this connects more with who you are, right?
100%.
Yeah.
Started making more money as well, doing what I love.
Good. Yeah, I think when you do what you love and you have a reason for it, I mean, the money will follow, right?
100%. I think Mars wanted to
I
say
was going
something.
to add, don't worry if it doesn't stay on the recording. I was going to add that we might have been a very short period of year. There was other reasons. We had to do our own healing process. And I believe that the best lesson learned is the one that you hit your head in the wall with. So we definitely had to hit our head in the wall and learn from our mistakes to get to where we are. But purpose, finding our purpose, and I think we were with you for 3 months. 3 months.
Yeah, probably.
Those 3 months, they have been the baseline of everything we've done. So the journey of offering the consultations to find people's story, their purpose, their why, that was through Marketing on Purpose. Finding authenticity, that was you as well, because we weren't being authentic. We were fitting in a box that the world expecting us to be, because we knew the marketing. People know, and with our clients, the consultations, we found out that they had a wonderful marketing strategy.
Yeah.
They had brilliant branding, but they were inauthentic. They weren't telling their story. They didn't know their why. They didn't know their origins.
Yeah.
And that left a crack in their system where they had this massive tower built, but no structure. And so we updated our services, one on top of the other, all based on truth, authenticity, on purpose, to give them done with you service where they sit down for 60 minutes. But everything was built through a lot of pain, a lot of mistakes, a lot of things we didn't listen, a lot of things we thought we knew better, but it all came down to our own healing. And it started with Ish finding his dad. We've both gone through a lot of therapy. We've done a lot of inner work, a lot of trauma healing. And our business hasn't been just about money. It's definitely been about people and healing. Because every single person that we had coaching with, every single client that helped us in business exchanges or even clients, they all served a purpose in this journey that we're going through. Every single one of them. I can't name one of them. Even the ones that were difficult, they came to teach us a lesson. They came to teach us a lesson. And they taught us to sort something that we hadn't quite processed and healed. But it's been a journey more of growth, healing, finding out of why and purpose, rather than filling out a bank account, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
I don't think I could have done it any other way, Hayley. Because it brought us to the place that we are now, that we can literally see people's truth, see their why. And like the lady that Ishan spoke about, she's completely changed her business to an authentic one that's true to her, rather than pleasing the country she's in, the language she's meant to speak.
Yeah.
And she cut her hair off. She's got a whole brand new image. She is a brand. She is a walking, talking brand. And that's the power of understanding who you are.
I think it's giving people
and
confidence.
Your why.
Yeah, giving people confidence to be them and actually believing. Yeah, I think one of the biggest things that we do is we give people confidence to be them and actually believe in them as well. And for me, belief was a huge thing as well, because growing up, that was one thing that I'd always seek validation from others. So I'd always give that to my friends and people around me, be their biggest cheerleader, because that's something that I wanted for myself. And that's one thing that I actually give in the business a lot, of actually believing in our clients and their vision and where they want to go. And I know it makes a huge impact on them, and it gets them to show up differently. And when you can show up differently, that's when you can truly connect with your audience, because we want magnetic content. And everyone has a story, everyone has a purpose, everyone has a voice. But the question is, are you willing to actually share? And when you start to share and actually open your voice, because your voice is your gift, that is going to open the floodgates to your business, to money, to connecting with people. But if you keep this quiet and you try and do everything on the back end, you're not going to reach as much people as you want. So you have to feel comfortable in your voice. But as soon as you start to express more and put yourself out there, it makes a huge difference. So that's why we love what you're doing, especially with the podcast as well, because that is connecting with people and that's putting you out there, man. So great conversations, and we definitely need to get you on a podcast where we actually interview your story.
Oh yeah, yes we do. Um, so what's next for Bell's Media? So are you continuing on this storytelling train? Do you have plans for anything new coming out?
Good question. So I don't think we've hit our pinnacle in this yet. I think definitely reaching just more people and actually helping more people share their story through the offer that we have, where we actually help them with your story, the consultation, the timeline, what they've gone through, helping them understand their voice and the best way they can actually share content in their personality, and then actually recording content with them. So just getting as much people as we can in this offer and helping business owners. And then I think Master's next goal is to actually get me on stage and speaking and doing all of those things there. I'm not quite there yet, but I'll be Master's speaking 10 steps ahead.
If I remember correctly, you also had a speech impediment when you were younger too, right?
Yes. You know a lot, Hayley. Wow, you're good listener.
After the Marketing on Purpose consultation, we got an organisation coach, right? For Ishad, because he could not get himself organised a timekeep. After that, we had a speech and language and a confidence coach. Like this journey has been like crazy. And then Ish went through the whole identity thing.
I cut off my dreads.
Visual, the confidence, the teeth, the hair, and everything has been like this crazy journey. But you asked about our plan. So at the moment, what we're doing is turning things automated, but not everything. So that a lot of the work is done. People don't really like the face-to-face thing. They like it once they're in it. So that in between, we're getting things a bit digital where they answer the questions and then we do the work and they show up. And because we already know their stories, so we're offering and creating two different types of services. One where they answer the questions and one where we do the actual consultations and find out their whole story, which some people find difficult. So automating things and expanding and selling the product directly to people that have people under them. So coaches that have people that need content, more of a bulk sale sort of thing. That's why we're moving, because there's just two of us and there's just 6 days in a week, and we kind of want to expand in that way. So that is the goal. But we'd rather learn our lessons quick and expand in the right timing, because when you rush things, it doesn't really work.
That is true. Yeah, because you guys at the beginning were kind of like shifting offers a lot, if I remember correctly. Like when we first started working together, you guys had shifted a lot of different things and trying to find your space. It sounds like you have.
They're probably thinking, Ish and Marsh, what are you guys doing? Every month is a new offer. Like, where do you stand? In a sense. But I think that's part of the growth, and that's part of like building a business and finding your feet. And we're grateful for yourself and our other clients who allowed us that room to actually explore different areas and really find us without actually just knocking us over or be like, oh, there's another offer or this and that. Like, we've grown with our clients, and every time we find something new, we share with them. And if they want part of it, they want it. And if they don't, that's absolutely fine. So yeah, I think it's beautiful when you grow with your clients. It's like, we're like family in a sense.
The thing is, it's not easy. And, people that start a business and they come and say that, oh, this is all a piece of cake. It really isn't, because you don't come with all this knowledge. And if you come with a fixed mindset that this is how it is, this is what I'm going to do, by the time you've executed it, everyone's ahead of you anyway. So it hasn't been an easy journey. And for those people that come in here and they say that, we made 10K in the first month and it's been like this ever since, they're lying. 100% they're lying. And you can see straight through it, because it's not, when you actually dig deep into it, that's not exactly how it is. There's a lot of sacrifice. There's a lot of remortgaging their own houses. There's a lot of cutting down on using their savings, a lot of pain. And I think this is what you need to talk about, the pain in growing a business, because it's much easier to work for somewhere else that's guaranteed wages, and at the end of the day they can send you out when they want to, but you're stuck receiving those wages thinking I'm safe, I'm secure. Fact of the matter is, if you don't fish for yourself, you're never really secure, because job security is an oxymoron. However, making that jump and going through the sacrifices and the pain of owning a business is not for everyone.
No,
because you've got to be willing to do all this healing, and all your life is reflected in the money you receive from the business. If someone had told me that, I would have ran away.
Okay, explain that. Explain that.
Because everything that you go through is reflected in your business. And there's always, Ish normally says that there's a correlation between the cleanliness and organization of his life and the business. So every time he has a clear out, every time he has that,
let me speak on that.
I'll let him say it.
You can say her for the fake. So yeah, there was a time in the journey when I was like decluttering my life. I had a lot of things, like when I moved from at home and then I bought my first house, I'd bring like lots of things to houses. I never really actually clear anything out. So along the personal development journey, it was like, all right, cool, let's get lighter. Let's actually get rid of things that no longer serve us and throw them out. So I remember in my room at the time, I opened my window and I was just literally throwing everything out my window, my desk, not my desk actually, but my cupboards, all the things, my mattress, just literally like a madman in a sense, just get everything out, and literally just only had my bed and my desk and my laptop in my room at the time, even like all my clothes as well. So I just got rid of everything, restarted again, and I started to realize correlations in my life. Like anytime I let go of something, business grew. And it wasn't me going to reach out to more clients or connect with people. It wasn't that. It was like release something and you get something. And I was telling Mars this. I was like, Mars, like we don't have to push. Like it's not this way. There's a correlation. And Mars was just not even believing me at the time. She's like, yeah, ish.
Just clean up.
Well, I think that's actually so true, because I actually just, I'm kind of doing the same thing. And I'm coming to the realization that just because you can do something doesn't mean you should do it, right? And so I had been taking a lot of different types of jobs that are not what I want to do. I had a long-standing client that I absolutely adore, but like was eating away at my, I guess my vision for my business, because it was taking me in a different direction. And I finally let her go. And it was hard, but the freedom and the whole rejuvenation of my my business right now and how excited I am for it is, I had to let it go. Even though I have a personal relationship with her, I like helped her build a business from like the beginning. It was time, and just because you can do it doesn't mean you should. That I think is my new motto.
That's beautiful.
Do you know, it's probably an irrelevant story, ADHD brain, but down to the pricing, even the pricing was something that we had to do inner healing for. Like, I'll give you an example. I'm not going to touch Ishan's subject. I'm not going to touch mine. I was getting my nails done, and I was speaking to the lady, to the beautician. I was telling her, when I collected a car, because I changed cars and my one was dying, and I literally drove it all the way to the garage hoping it wouldn't die on the way, and got a new one. And I don't believe I'm worthy of receiving things. So every time I receive or have something new, or even money, I have, like, my whole body goes into shock. I sweat. I start to think that, there are people that don't have this kind of thing. My kids, I'm not giving it to my kids. So I go into complete shock mode. So pricing, it's all about your value and your worth. It's nothing to do with you not believing that your service is good enough. It's about you. It's how you feel about you. And it all goes down to your childhood trauma. And going back to it is something that it's not easy to do, but the fact of the matter is that trauma is a wound, and a wound is carried on the surface, and you can heal from it, and it pops out in little things. Like for me, it was the car. I had no idea I was creating such a fuss, Hayley, that I wanted to return the car at all cost. It had a 14-day probation period. Honestly, Hayley, haven't I? I have caused the biggest fuss ever that I wanted to return the car. And I'm driving down the motorway looking at old little cars like the one I had,
Yeah.
mourning for this car, this little shitty car that I got off after divorce, and I'm like, I miss my car because I don't feel worthy of receiving anything good or anything new. So that was an interesting one.
Oh,
So I've got no problems charging clients, but when it comes to something for me,
yeah.
I can't, I will create a problem to return it because I don't feel worthy of it. So that was an interesting one that I only realised half an hour before we started that I didn't realise why I was causing such a fit. I mean, reading my emails back to this company, I think this is a mad woman, she's going to show up with a car because she doesn't want it, right?
Yeah.
But the fact of the matter is that it's my limiting belief that I'm not, everything I have should either be secondhand, passed down, broken, or rubbish.
I had a session with I can never say the word feng shui.
Feng Shui.
Yeah, feng shui. Thank you. And she had said if you have broken doorknobs, like
Yes,
leaky
yes.
faucets, like stuff like that, that actually leaks into your energy fields, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
it causes you to feel broken too. Which I found was very interesting. And so now, like, there's like a squeaky door. I'm like, oh my gosh, we've got to like fix it right away. It's hard. Like, healing's hard, man. And I think as we get older, we realize there's like so much stuff that we didn't even know we had to heal from, that just like comes up, and that's life. And I think that's kind of why we're here, right? Like just to heal and learn and continue to grow.
I remember that when I was writing my legacy with you, my purpose was to leave a legacy. That was one of the very important things for me. And that's because my mum passed away and practically literally the next week nobody remembered her. There was nothing to remember her because all it takes is the next of kin or the person that's married to her to say that I don't want any memories, and that's it. You've got to follow through. So leaving a legacy for me, it hasn't been the normal legacy. And in the beginning when I was writing 2 years ago, I thought leaving a legacy would be having a school for special needs kids, remember?
Yeah.
I thought it would be having something that would give back what I didn't have in my childhood. However, it's actually been different. It's been the process of healing and forgiving that isn't automatic. It's been forgiving my dad over a period of 26 years that I expected it to be really fast, but it wasn't. It actually came with me giving to him what he couldn't give to me. How ironic is that?
Wow.
And the legacy that I'm leaving for my kids and for my grandkids isn't even what I thought it was. It won't even be money. It will be my own healing. And it will be bringing all the skeletons out of the closet and dealing with them in public. Healing them here, not waiting for them to say goodbye to me and deal with it once I'm gone. Because once I'm gone, I'm gone. So
Yeah.
it's all the little lessons that I'll be teaching them with my own example and with the work that I do.
Oh my goodness. You guys have been on quite a journey. This like holy so a lot of healing. Have you been on any trips lately?
It's
No,
just dying to
I'm
go.
dying.
It's dying to go.
I think in the past 2 years,
We've sat down and worked.
yeah, I've done like probably a few little small ones. We done Morocco 2
Yeah, we
years
did
ago,
Morocco with my son Eddie,
Morocco.
so that was a big one.
and then I think I went Amsterdam with the boys, and yeah, I think that's all. So we haven't done any
We've
big
done
main
a few
trips.
ones.
What are you going to write on the whiteboard when we get off this podcast?
I think what I want to do, like the next, I don't even know when, but when we can, I want to do 3 to 6, like anywhere between 2 to 3 months away, where I just
Southeast Asia,
stay in a
right?
country for like a good 2-3 months and really become part of that country, the culture, the food, and like even like know where I'm going, X, Y, and Z. So that's one thing that I want to do. So just waiting like to the perfect timing where we can all do it as a
So
family.
before we met, he was saving up to leave for 6 months. and
I've been
now he's
taken
like-
away. I was saving up to leave, and then COVID happened. And then in COVID, bought a house. So I was like trapped. So I was like, oh my God, I've got house bills now. I'm like, when am I ever actually going to get to go? And then the business changed. And so it's always been turbulent. It's always been constant changing. But I think when God says it's time, I'm going to enjoy it, Hayley. I am going to enjoy the sunshine, the beach. I even got like a...
No.
I even got like a tattoo of like a beach.
And he's got his ticket.
And a
What?
plane. I've got my ticket. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I was just gonna say, like, even though like you guys have been on this healing journey, remembering that the joy of life as well, right? And I know that you guys do that, but um, I just wish that for you as you continue on this healing journey, that you also get to like love your life.
I created a video about this a few weeks back. But when I first started entrepreneurship, like all my friends used to like, and mentors always used to say, Ish, enjoy the journey, man. Enjoy the journey. It's not about the destination. And I used to tell, I never used to understand, what do you mean it's not about the destination? I want to make money, I want to travel, I want to do X, Y, and Z. I want it now. And then when I got a bit of success, I was like, oh, success, it just comes and it goes. It's short lived.
It's
But the
so
memories that you
hard.
create along the journey, the friendships, and all of those things, those are the things that you value, and those are the things that you can go back and you can smile, and that's where the story is made. And if I would have ever got success just like that overnight, I wouldn't have a story. I wouldn't be able to hop on podcasts like the Daring Dreams podcast and tell them how we dared to dream and what the story and what the journey was like. In
Yeah.
a sense. So I'll never be able to influence anyone to take action on their dreams because my story was short lived. But because I went through the hurdles, I went through the challenges, that's where the story was built. And that's where the memories were built and the friendships were built. And those are the things that I value. And it's never about the money, or it's never about the destination. Yes, that's great, but it's about the journey. And I'm a big believer in God. And there was a prayer, like when there was times in the business when I didn't know how I'm going to make it through at the end of the month, where I got to pay the team, pay payroll and all of those things and pay my bills. And I'm just like, oh my God, what I'm going to do? And I just prayed to God. I was like, God, if this is your mission for me, you need to help me with payroll. You need to help me with X, Y, and Z. Like, you need to open up opportunities. You need to fund this mission, God, because I've been funding this mission and I've been working hard. And every single time, God would always put a client or opportunity in front of me to keep me going forward. So that's how I knew I was doing my purposeful work. I knew I was doing God's vision, because there's certain times on your mission that you won't be able to fund your dream. You won't be able to do that. But if it's truly meant for you, God will fund that for you and it will open up ways. That's what I believe anyway. So yeah, it's been a beautiful journey. We're still going.
I will say, when I wrote my book, um, that was like I'm going to be an author. I'm going to be an author. And I did not necessarily enjoy the whole process of writing the book, because as you guys know, my dad passed away during that process, and then it stalled everything, and it was hard for me to get it to the finish line. And then I was so excited because I got to the finish line, I got to the destination, and that excitement lasted about a week. And then I'm like, okay, now what? Now what's next? So I think that that was a good lesson for me too, that it's not just about the destination or that big goal that you have, the 20K months or the book or the, TED Talk or whatever. It's how do you get there in a way that feels authentic, and joyful. And that's the hard part.
It's beautiful when you say that as well, in a way that feels authentic. Authentic is, for me, what I've realized is, because I was coming from an energy in the business when I first started, was just pushing, forceful energy. Like, it needs to happen, reaching out to people, like burning myself out. And it was funny because the more I kind of like just relaxed and let go, not let go, not do nothing, but let go and just be me, that's when more opportunities and things started to flow. And I was like, oh, you can actually get your goals in a calm, peaceful state. It doesn't have to be chaotic in a sense. I was like, oh, this is how you enjoy the journey. You enjoy
Yeah.
this. And this is the formula. You enjoy the journey. Listen, guys, you enjoy the journey by being your authentic self. By you being your authentic self, you're at peace. And by you being your authentic self, doors open. And then you
Yeah.
get what you want. So you don't have to come from a pushing force. Just be you and put in the work and trust the process and just enjoy it, man. And doors will open.
Yeah. And I know I've mentioned this on this podcast before. I don't know if I've mentioned it to you guys. But there was a research that came out, I think it was probably about a year and a half, maybe 2 years ago, about the frequency, the vibrational frequency of authenticity. And so we know that love has a super high vibrational frequency. Well, I think it was that authenticity and acting as your authentic self actually has a even higher vibrational frequency than love. And so I think that it does happen. And I think that I did a talk one time on this, when my clients really truly embrace themselves and their authenticity and their stories and all of that stuff, like even before we implement anything in their marketing, they're already seeing results. And I think it's because they're showing up at that higher vibration. So yeah, it's pretty cool. But like you said, like whatever's happening in here is usually happening out here, right?
I remember in the early days when you met, you asked, Ish, what are you on? Where'd you get this energy from? And I can honestly say, back in the days, it was sugar. 100% sugar. Hayley, he has gone on a detox. He's gone on a sugar detox, on a 11-day fast. He eats well now. He has steak and veg and fruit and water. He has water now.
Ish.
But what was he on? Sugar.
Yeah.
Like today he had a biscuit, and it's not a common thing to have biscuits now after his new transformation. And he goes, oh, my head feels fuzzy. And I'm like, I'm sure it feels fuzzy. Because when you take away all these things and you reintroduce them again, your body's like, what? It goes into shock. But yeah, he was running on sugar.
I done
100%, that's all, promise.
I done an 11-day water fast, like 11 days no food, just only water. That was transformational, and that just helped cleanse and clear everything out for me, and just really helped me connect to my vision on another level and realize the purpose and what I'm here to do, and also hear God's voice clearly. Because when you ain't got no food in your stomach, right, you're like, oh my God, when the universe or God speaks to you, whatever you believe in, your higher power, you hear it, right? Because your tummy's rumbling. So that was powerful. And I also realized like what I was like addicted to and what my escapes were. Especially when you haven't got food, it's like, all right, cool. You haven't got nothing in your stomach. You actually have to get things done, right? There's no running or there's no escaping to things. So it made me confront a lot of things, which helped the business, and things that I couldn't move before move and open doors. So yeah, that was pinnacle in the journey. And it also gave me a six pack and gave me
Okay.
No, I want to take a
You're pretty much You pretty much
Well, you guys, it has been an absolute pleasure to catch up with you guys again, to share your story. Thank you for being so vulnerable. I think a lot of people are going to connect with the ups and downs of business and like the healing journey that everybody on this earth probably has to go through. So thank you so much. Until next time, we'll see you on Daring Dreams.